That means true or false. Up to true or false we have discussed. So there is a change to be made in true or false. Come to F question. Question number F. Genes are located in chromosomes. It's a true, right? It's a true. It's not a false. Genes are located in chromosomes and they contain DNA. So it's a confusing question. So just read it thoroughly or just understand it. Genes are located in the chromosomes, right? Genes are the hereditary unit, right? So they are located in the chromosomes. It's a true. Now can we move forward with the third question? We have to do from third, right?
Okay.
Yes. Just a minute. Yes. How many chromosome pairs are found in human cells? How many are present? 23 pairs of chromosome. So you have to write 23 pairs. 23 pairs. We will only discuss the short answer type up to the fill in the blanks. Then the C portion, I'll give you the notes in Moodle. I'll upload in Moodle all the answers of C and D. And try to do it by yourself also if you can do, like state the major functions of the following in long answer type. So you can state it, right? Plasma membrane, lysosome, all the major functions are given in your table. There's a table, yellow color table on page number 15, 16. There are all the functions are present there. So you can write it down from there. But now we will discuss up to fill in the blanks and then we'll start the new chapter. So third answer is 23 pairs. Fourth is, what is the name of the chemical substance which constitutes the genes? Now, which constitutes the genes?
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
Yes,
Deoxyribonucleic acid.
yes, DNA. Very good. So you can write DNA. Don't write it full. You can write DNA. DNA is the chemical substance which constitutes the genes. Now, fifth one, match the items. Come to next page. Is column A and column B. You can see vacuoles. Now vacuoles, what will be the answer? It will be covered by tonoplast. They are covered with the help of tonoplast, right? These are substances which covers the vacuole. So vacuole will be third one, covered by tonoplast. Then nucleolus. Nucleolus, what does it do? It forms RNA. That's the fifth one. Nucleolus forms RNA. Lysosomes could be first one. Yes, lysosomes are referred as digestive organelles, right? They digest their own enzymes. Oh, sorry, they digest their own cell walls. So the lysosome will be matched with intracellular digestion. That is first one, intracellular digestion. D is anthocyanin. That means it will be matched with fourth, dissolved in the cytoplasm. Anthocyanin is a pigment which is dissolved in the cytoplasm, right? We have not studied much about anthocyanin. We have studied more about the other three pigments which are chloroplast, leucoplast and chromoplast. But anthocyanin is also a pigment which is present inside the cytoplasm, or it is dissolved inside the cytoplasm. Now E, cristae. Cristae's answer will be the left, which is left, respiratory enzymes. Why? Because you will think cristae are the inner folds of mitochondria. But if you see that mitochondria, what does it do? They carries the respiratory functions. They carries respiratory enzymes. So cristae will be respiratory enzymes. Alright, cristae are found in mitochondria. So therefore, the answer for cristae will be respiratory enzymes. Now come to sixth, fill in the blanks. Dash consists of membranous sacs and secretes 40 types of digestive enzymes. Can anyone answer?
Lysosome.
Yes, very good. Lysosomes contains membranous sacs and secretes 40 types of digestive enzymes. Because only the lysosomes are connected with digestion, right? They are masters in digestion. So lysosome is the right answer. Then come to B. Dash is surrounded by microtubules located near the nucleus.
Centrosome.
It will be centriole, right? Centrosome के अंदर centriole होता है, right? So centriole is surrounded by microtubules. right? Centrosome is correct somewhere, but the answer will be centriole, right? Centriole are the we have studied that two centrioles are present inside a centrosome. So the centriole is covered by microtubules. Then third one, very thin flexible living membrane which is differentially permeable is called. What is differentially permeable? Which membrane?
Plasma membrane.
Plasma.
Yes, plasma membrane, or we can say cell membrane. Both are right answers. Plasma membrane, you can write plasma membrane or cell membrane. Now D, more than 1,000 chromosomes are found in the nucleus of certain. This we have not studied.
Insect.
Insect.
Yes, yeah. Insects is the right answer. So it is given somewhere, I guess. In the starting, it may be there. So in insects, more than 1,000 chromosomes are found. That means one more is there. You can also, this is an extra knowledge. There's a fern. Fern means a plant. It comes from a plantae kingdom. So there's a fern named adder's tongue fern. Right. That also consists of more than 1,000 number of chromosomes. But in your book, insects are there. You can write insects. Then E dash are hereditary units. Everyone know genes.
Genes.
Yes, genes are the hereditary units. Dash is a plastid which stores starch. Now, which plastid stores starch? You all know?
Leucoplast.
Yes, leucoplast. Leucoplast stores starch, which is transparent, translucent in color, right? And the other ones, they usually impart color. Leucoplast stores starch. Now, all the short answer type and the long answer type, C and D, I will try to upload it on Moodle, all the answers. You all also try to find out the answer. And some answers are there, like it is said that the protoplasm cannot be analyzed chemically. Why? So this you will not get in your book. So for this you can write the answer. Not now. I will upload it on Moodle, but I'm just discussing the answer right now. That why protoplasm cannot be analyzed chemically. Why? Can anyone give an answer? Any answer? If not, then I'll give. So I'll give the answer. In protoplasm, protoplasm consists of what? The nucleus and the cytoplasm. So as we all know, both of them, the nucleus and the cytoplasm, both of them are complex substances, right? They are complex substances. They are doing all the functions of the cell. Like in senior classes, you will study that nucleus is divided, cytoplasm is divided, right? Two names are given to them. So the nucleus and the cytoplasm being the complex substances, if any chemical solution is added to them, if any chemical is added, they will get disintegrated, right? Disintegration means they will break into pieces. They will lose their quality for cell division. They will lose their ability or capability to do something, right? So when these complex substances, that is nucleus and the cytoplasm, when they come in contact with some chemical substance, they will get disintegrated or they will break into pieces. That's why we cannot analyze protoplasm. That's the question. Yes, in a chemical manner. Protoplasm cannot be analyzed in a chemical way. This is the reason, because the chemicals can disintegrate the substances in the protoplasm. Disintegration means nothing. It means it can break the particles, right? It can break into small pieces. That's the answer for this. I will post the answers in Moodle by evening. You can write from there. You have ample time. You have Saturday and Sunday, so you can write it any time before Monday, right? Now come to the next chapter. I'll give you these answers in Moodle. Come to next chapter, because if we discuss these right now, it will take a lot of time, right? It will consume much time. So I will give you the answer. Try to find it out yourself too, right? So come to third chapter, tissues, plant and animal tissues. Yes, everyone get ready with the book, page number 23, tissues, plant and animal tissues. Just a minute. Yes. So in your syllabus, very little portion is there, types of plant and animal tissues, and then brief understanding of their location, structure and function, brief understanding of their role in different physiological processes in plants and animals. Tissues helps also in physiological processes, right? Movement and all. So in plants and animals, we have to discuss the requirement of tissues in physiological processes. Now, can anyone define what is a tissue? You have studied in class 6, I guess.
Many cells combine to make a tissue.
Yes, very good, Azim. So basically, what is a tissue? Many similar cells, they combine to form a mass. That mass is known as, mass means a group, right? Group of cells. They combine to make a form or form a group which are known as tissues, and also they perform similar function. So what is a tissue? How can we define a tissue? Group of cells which group of similar cells which performs a similar function or a specific function is known as tissue. Now you all know that in our body or a human body, or may it be any organism, be it be any organism, every organism starts life as a single cell, right? Now this single cell will not remain single during our whole life, right? It have to divide. It divides and divides and it grows into tissues, right? So basically our human body or any organism body starts with a single cell. Then these cells form a mass, a group known as tissues. Now these tissues form different organs. During going further, they form different organs. Like organs we can say a stomach, liver, right? Brain, all these comes under organs. And now all these organs are, connected with what, or they are present in what? They are present in organ systems. Now organs collectively can be known as organ systems. Like if we talk about digestive system, it consists of stomach and all the enzymes and everything. If we talk about nervous system, brain, nerves, spinal cord, everything comes under nervous system. So these organs form a organ system. An organ system is formed. For example, we can say nervous system, digestive system, circulatory system, and so on. And finally, these organ systems, they are grown into a proper organism. Like we human beings, we are a full grown organism, right? We have organs in ourselves, we have organ systems inside us, so we are properly grown organism. So for your better understanding, you can make a flow chart, like you can write cell, then give an arrow downwards, then tissues, then give an arrow, then organs, then an arrow, then organ system, then an arrow, and then finally an organism. For your better understanding, like by seeing that, by looking that, you will understand that life starts as a cell, then it forms tissues, then it forms organs, then organ system, and then finally an organism is formed. Now, so we have already said cells form a group, they form a mass and perform specific function, and those cells, those mass of cells are known as tissues. For example, we can say we have seen tissues in our skin, right? Our skin has a type of tissue which is that epidermal tissue, right? What does it do? It acts as a protective covering to our skin, right? These are masses of cell lined in a plane, and these protect our skin from damage, right? From entering some substances enter into our skin, right? So these layer, the epidermal layer or the epidermal tissue, protect our skin basically. And also it secretes and absorbs things. Like our skin can absorb things. If we apply some cream on our skin, it will absorb that, right? So absorption, secretion, and protection, everything is done by epidermal cells. Also we know about muscle cells. What does muscle cells do? Muscles are basically for contraction, relaxation. That means basically it does what? It helps in movement. So muscle cells helps in movement of the body. So these are some types of the cells, like epidermal tissues, muscle tissues, everything. They have different functions, right? All these have different functions. Now, for example, as we have told, in an organism, cell is there, tissue, then organs, organ system, and then organism. And in plants, how can we define the system, this system? Like root system and the shoot system. You have studied in 6th standard, you have root system and the shoot system, right? Both of them form the plant. A proper plant is formed by both of these, a root system and a shoot system. So these are in the case of plant. Now come to plant tissues. Plant tissues on page number 23, plant tissues. Now this also you have studied in class 6, I guess. Class 6 or 7th, yeah, class 7th tissues chapter is there. So you must have studied what are tissues, what are the types of tissues in plants. Now plant tissues, there are basically two types. What are they? Meristematic and permanent. Now meristematic cells can multiply to produce new cells. Permanent means non-dividing and specialized. So basically, the meristematic tissues are the ones which continuously divide. These are known as the dividing tissues, right? And what is the permanent tissue? Permanent tissue is nothing but a fully grown or fully matured meristematic tissue. These are not very different from each other. The permanent tissue is nothing but a fully grown, fully matured meristematic tissue. That means the meristematic tissues in its divisional stage, it divides and forms masses of cells or masses of tissues and forms masses of tissues. And these finally matured tissues, the meristematic tissues which are finally matured, is known as permanent tissues. So what is permanent tissue actually? It is the matured meristematic tissue which is non-dividing. Now because these meristematic tissue, after attaining some point or after reaching at a point, they lose their ability to divide. They lose the capability to divide. And now they are known as permanent tissues. They have become permanent. Now they are not dividing. And these are known as non-dividing tissues. Right? So basically permanent tissues are the matured meristematic tissues. And these are non-dividing tissues. Do you all have any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
No doubt, ma'am.
Right? So
No,
have you
no
all
doubt,
understood?
ma'am.
Yes. So meristematic tissue is dividing tissue. They grow up to some point. At some point, they lose their ability to divide, and then when they lose their ability to divide, when they are fully matured, they are known as permanent tissues. Now, these permanent tissues do not grow further, right? They do not grow further. They do not divide further. Actually, they are specialized into different functions, right? Now, meristematic tissue or meristem. Where are they found? They are found at the growing parts of the plant. Now, which are the growing parts of the plant? Root, stem and branches, right? Stem grows upwards, branches grow laterally, roots grow downwards. So, all these growing parts, the roots, stems and branches, in these places, in these regions, this meristematic tissue is present. Why? Because the basic function of meristematic tissue is what? It helps the plants to increase their length, right? All the growing parts length are increased or controlled by meristematic tissue. Also present between bark and the wood of trees, where it leads to growth in the diameter of stem. Now it is also present in the between the bark and the wood of trees. Bark means the outer covering of trees and the wood means the inner thing. So between them also these are present. Why? So that to increase the girth or the diameter, right? The diameter of the wood is increased by this meristematic tissue. So you all now you have known where they are present in the growing parts of plants, right? Now what are the chief characteristics of meristematic tissue? We will discuss the characteristics of meristematic tissue. Cells are very small. Cells are usually cubical. You can see in the diagram also these are cubical cells. Cell wall is thin, nuclei are large. So cell wall of meristematic tissue is very thin, nuclei are large. These are the characteristics. There are more are there. Come to the next page. Vacuoles are almost absent. Cells are tightly packed and thus they do not have intercellular spaces. Cells actively divide, new cells are formed. New cells thus produced are transformed into mature permanent tissues. So these are all the characteristics. What are the characteristics? You can make out the characteristics, or you can define it by the diagram itself, that these are small cells. Okay, nuclei are large, cell wall is very thin, you can see in the diagram, usually cubical in shape, vacuole is absent, and you can see in the diagram cells are very closely packed to each other, they are tightly packed, right? So because they are tightly packed, they do not have spaces between them, do not have intercellular spaces. So basically, you must have studied in your class 7th that cells which are tightly packed, what is their main function? Since they are tightly packed or closely packed, they provide support to the plants, right? Like if I am packing my hand like this, so both of my hands are supported, right? This hand is supporting this one, this is supporting this one. So basically this is providing support, right? But if you say, if we study that intercellular spaces are present, in this it is not present, but in some cases intercellular spaces or gaps are present. There what is the case? That in those intercellular spaces food is stored, right? Food is stored. You can find these spaces in phloem, right? Phloem which transports food. So we are going to study xylem, phloem, everything in the coming topics. Now we are discussing about meristematic tissue. So these do not have intercellular spaces. So from that you can make a point that it will provide support because they are tightly packed or closely packed. Now the cells are actively dividing. You all know this is the dividing tissue. So the cells are actively dividing in nature, and the new cells produced are transformed into permanent ones. I told you permanent tissues are the mature meristematic tissue. So the new cells which are produced are transformed into mature permanent tissues. The meristematic tissue can be classified into two categories, apical meristem and lateral meristem. Now it have two categories, apical and lateral, also known as apical or terminal, lateral or cambium meristem. Now in apical what happens? This is located near the tips of the root. Apical means the top portions or the tip of the root and stem. So this apical meristem is located in the tips of roots and stem, also in the growing young leaves near the tips. So basically apical meristem is present where? At the tips of growing parts. Which are they? The stem tips, root tips and the leaf tips which are growing. The lateral meristem, this is situated below the bark and is responsible for increasing the diameter. A lateral meristem or cambium meristem, this is situated in the bark of woody trees. Bark is found in woody trees. So they are found below the bark and are responsible for increasing the diameter. They basically increase the diameter of the plant. Now come to permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are made up of cells which have lost their ability to divide. As we have already told, permanent tissues do not further divide. They have gained a maturity point and now they are permanent in their nature. Right? These are mature meristematic tissues. They take a permanent shape to perform some permanent function. They do some specific permanent function. They may be living, nucleus present or absent. It depends that nucleus is present or absent, living or non-living. It depends on the type of tissues. According to the function performed, permanent tissues are of three types. Now, according to their functions performed, these are further divided into three types. What are they? Protective, supporting and conducting. So now protecting ones are different, supporting tissues are further divided into three and the conducting are very different from them, right? Support and conduction is very different. Support means it is providing support, it's providing strength, and conduction means conduction of food, passage of food. So they are very different from each other. Now protective tissues, they usually have a thick cell wall. Why? They are protecting the plant. So they must be having thick cell wall. Cell wall is basically used for the protection of plant. They have thick cell walls found on the surface of root stems and leaves. These are found where? On the surface of root. Means they are protecting. So if they are protecting, then they'll obviously be found in the surfaces of these growing parts. Which are the growing parts? Root, stem and leaves. So on their surface they are present, not inside them but on the surface, right? Examples are epidermis of leaves which secrete a waxy waterproof material. Cork cells in the barks contain another strong waterproof material. Now you know leaves, you have seen when water droplets fall on leaf, they are not absorbed by the leaf. They just fall and uh, they are just placed there like a droplet. They are attached to the leaf in the form of a droplet. Why? Because these leaves, or we can say the epidermal tissues of leaf, they are covered with a waxy coating, right? This waxy coating, we all know that wax do not absorb water. It just slips the water. So they contain a waxy coating. The epidermal cells contain a waxy coating which does not allow the water to get absorbed, right? It throws or pushes away the water, right? And that waxy coating, it has a name. Do you all know the name of that waxy coating? You must have studied. It is known as cuticle, right? In plants, there is a waxy coating. It is known as cuticle. So this is about the protective tissue. Example is epidermis of leaves which secrete waxy waterproof coating. Now second comes the supporting tissue. The supporting tissue, it is of several types. Now there are three main important supporting tissues. We have told parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Right? Parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now we can say parenchyma also as a filler tissue. Why? Now look at this. These are thin walled cells, oval circular, usually a single large vacuole found in soft parts of plants such as cortex and in the pith, that is outer region and central region. Now what is written in the next point? May store food as in potatoes, provide temporary support. So since they are storing food, these are also known as filler tissue, right? They are filling themselves with food material. They are storing food inside them. So because of this function of them, that means the storing of food, they are also known as the filler tissues, right? Parenchyma. We are talking about parenchyma and also provide temporary support to the plant. They also provide temporary support. Basically, they are concerned with what? Storing of food, right? But they provide temporary support to the plant. Now, some parenchymatous cells, particularly in the leaf, contain chloroplasts and are termed as chlorenchyma. Helps the leaf to produce food by photosynthesis. This is in the case of leaves. Some cells are, they contain chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are pigments which are green in color. So they are termed as, in plants, in some plants they are termed as chlorenchymas. Now chlorenchyma, what it do? It helps the leaf to produce food by photosynthesis. Why? Because it's green in color, chlorophyll pigment is there, right? Sunlight, if sunlight is trapped during photosynthesis, and through that, this chlorenchyma helps the leaf to produce food. Now come to collenchyma. You can see collen means glue. Now basically, what does collenchyma do? Collenchyma supports, also known as the supportive tissue. What does parenchyma refer to as? The filler tissue. Why? Because it is storing food. Now collenchyma is referred as supportive tissue. You can make a point from this point itself. Collen means glue. What does a glue do? It sticks some pieces like paper pieces, or we can say hard glue, or a good adhesive can stick plastic and steel, plastics also, right? So what does the glue do? It provides support, right? It is sticking two broken pieces, it is sticking them, so it is providing support. So collenchyma also do the supporting function. It is known as the supporting tissue, made up of cells which are elongated and the cell wall is thickened at the corners. It is found in the leaf stalks and below the epidermis of the stem. Now where it is found, please underline that. Underline that it is found in leaf stalks. Leaf stalk, you all know. What is a stalk? The little portion which is present between the leaf and the stem, through which the leaf is attached to the stem. That is known as a leaf stalk, and below the epidermis of the stem. So here the collenchyma tissue is present. This tissue helps to support the plant's parts, right? This basically provides support, underline support. This basically provides support to the plant. Now come to sclerenchyma. Scleros means hard. From hard you know that hard means it is something which protects, right? Hard substance, thick substance, these all are something which protects the plant. So sclerenchyma is the protective tissue. You can write in front of parenchyma filler tissue, in front of collenchyma you can write supportive tissue, and in front of sclerenchyma you can write protective tissue. These are the protective tissue. Now, composed of long narrow cells which have become dead. These cells develop very thick walls due to the deposition of lignin. Now, sclerenchyma, they have dead cells. Now, these dead cells, now you will think dead cells, these are dead, now they will do not perform anything, any function. But what they do, these dead cells deposit lignin over them. Lignin is a type of pigment, right? So they deposit lignin over them. This tissue provides strength to the plant's parts. So basically they are providing strength. It is found in stems and veins of the leaf. Okay, you underline these things. This tissue provides strength to the plant parts. It is found in stems and veins of the leaves. Right? So what they are doing? They are actually providing protection to the stem and veins of the leaves. They are providing strength. The above three categories, namely parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, are grouped as simple tissues. Right? These all are simple tissues. All the both of these, the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, three of them. In this, one is storing the food, one is providing support, one is giving protection. So all these three, all of them are the simple tissues. They are grouped as simple tissues. Now, fibers and stones. We will read that blue box. Ropes, mats, and certain textiles are made from plant fibers such as those of linen and hemp. These fibers are the sclerenchyma cells. The hard walnut shells and the gritty masses in the skin and the pulp of pears are made up of sclerenchyma cells, here known as stone cells. Now we all know sclerenchyma means, sclero means hard. These protects the plant. So all these, some of the fibers, or we can say the pulp of pear, everything. When we eat a pear, it is very hard. The pulp is very hard to eat, right? It is not properly, or it is not easily chewable. So these are all made of sclerenchyma cells, right? So that's about the permanent tissues, which are further divided into protective, supporting, and conducting, right? Protective, supporting, and conducting. Now in this we have studied parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Is it clear to you all? This much, is this portion clear to you all? Can I get a
Yes, ma'am.
yes? Can I get an answer from everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is over. Now the third one is conducting tissue. Okay, since till now we were doing protective and supporting tissues. Now it comes to conducting tissue. I told you both are very different from each other. Protection and supporting means giving protection and giving support and strength to the plant. But conduction is referred or is concerned with what? Food. Conduction is referred to the passage or flow of food or the storing of food. So now we will talk about the food, not the protection, not the support, but about the food storage and the food passage, right? Now we have, okay, we have only 2 minutes left. I'll just tell you what is a conducting tissue. That's it, right? So conducting tissue, also called the vascular tissue. Now you all know, you must have studied that the conducting tissues, what are the conducting tissues? Xylem and phloem. Both of them together known as vascular bundles, or we can say vascular tissues, provides a passage for water and dissolved materials to move up and down in the plant. The xylem and phloem are two types of conducting tissues. Now you must have studied this also in your earlier classes, that xylem, main function of xylem is what? to conduct or to transport water and minerals, right? And in phloem, the main function is to conduct food. So basically, xylem is concerned with transport of water and minerals. Phloem is concerned with the transport or conduction of food materials. So this will discuss in the next class. Whenever is your next class, that is on Wednesday, we will discuss the conducting tissue. From this portion, we will discuss on Wednesday. So for today, this much is enough. Thank you everyone. You may leave, or you may, if you have any doubt, you can ask right now.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Try to read this chapter. You have 2 days time, 2 days holidays there. So try to read this chapter and try to find out the answers of previous chapter too. I'll be uploading the answers in Moodle too. Have a look at them. By evening I'll upload, right? So thank you everyone. You may leave or you may wait for the
Thank
other
you.
teacher. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you.